All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Spoken Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
What's good?
Episode 326 is in full swing, full motion. We're so happy to be here with you and for you to be here with us, whether you're live streaming, podcasting, or YouTube. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us at this time as we have a not so fun show to get to today. Trevor, we have to talk about the realities of the Chiefs at this current time, which is not something that I think is going to be exciting for a lot of us to discuss, but it's something we have to discuss anyway, Trevor, because that's a part of what we do here, man. It's not always about when it's at its best, when it's at its peak. It's what is, and we have to discuss it at that time and at that place. And I hope that you guys are happy to be here, because we need all the happiness we can get right now, because yes, it is just week one, but no, this is something that we really have to truly address and discuss as a reality, not something that I think that sometimes we get caught up in the overreaction of certain things in life. But I think there's times where it's not really overreaction. It's just being honest about a conversation. We're going to get to a lot of that. So whether, like I said, whether you're live streaming, podcasting, or YouTube, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I apologize for my voice. For some damn reason this week, it's just progressively gotten worse. I don't know if it's just the changing of the season. That seems to happen every year when it goes from hot to rather cool rapidly. For whatever reason, the barometer kind of messes with me, and so I hope you guys stick with me in this one, but I promise to get to you guys as soon as possible, because we need to get to you guys. The comments is what we need today, man. We need to hear from you guys. We want to hear your takes, comments, questions, concerns, and the best way to do that is if you go to YouTube, hit up the Spoken Podcast there, and hit subscribe, like, share, all that stuff, but definitely comment. Get in the comment button today, guys. We want to hear as much as you guys have to say. We'll get it on the screen. We'll react to it, and we'll make this as good of a thing as we possibly can, guys, because it's like I said, it's kind of it's been a rough 12, 13 hours, but nevertheless, we're here to talk about it. Trevor, how are you doing today, man? Are you, dare I ask, ready to talk a little Chiefs football today?
Reluctantly, yeah. I'm good though. I mean, I not as bad as you, but I don't feel the best today either. I think it's just my allergies that always the change of the seasons, like you said, going from cold to hot, hot to cold. Things like that, it just kind of messes with me a little bit. The air pressure and things like the air's getting thinner or whatever. So, nothing a good old stogie can't fix later. So
yeah, exactly.
Puffing on one of those later, but I'm good, man. Ready to try to find the positives in this shit pie of last night. So, yeah, man, ready to talk some ball reluctantly.
Well, without further ado, then, guys, let's get right to it. Trevor, it is time for Lance Rants.
Gotta scream! Down! We're back to motion! The moon's gonna do big! Woo!
So whenever there's a loss like this, you always ask yourself, where do you begin? And this might sound funny, but I have a reason to say it. I'm going to start from the last Super Bowl, because I'm not going to lie to you guys. Watching the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl the way they did last season, it did something to me. Now, I know that sounds kind of dramatic, but we all are talking sports the way that we do and listening and consuming sports the way they do because we know this matters to us a great deal. I've always told people that the Chiefs, outside of any person that I love in my life, I think the Chiefs are probably the most important thing to me. You can say that's silly. That's fine. I don't care. Fan is short for fanatic, though. And we're fanatical about this team. We're fanatical about this sports. And I'm a fan of just sports in itself. I am a competitor by nature. Trevor and I are competitors. We grew up together. We're 14 months apart. And if we weren't beating the shit out of each other on a basketball court or a football field, it was because we were probably beating the shit out of somebody else that was pissing us off. That's just what we were doing. That's the kind of kids we were, and I know a lot of you guys could probably relate to that. Or maybe it wasn't even to that extent. Maybe you guys were just video gamers. You love playing Madden or whatever the case was, and that was your way of expressing your competition. But being a fan of this team has been something that has been a consistent love and passion and drive to me. And when I saw them lose the way they did last season, just 7 months ago, it really was tough. And I know it was tough for a lot of you guys because we saw how that team overcame so much. They went 15-2 despite all the odds. Patrick Mahomes was driving them and pushing them forward, and it just seemed like this team was just destined to pull out a three-peat. And that's what I was so excited about, was my team being the first team to ever do that in the NFL. And the first team to three-peat in sports, in American sports, since the early 2000s Lakers. It was going to be history, and it was going to be something that we would be able to hold our hats on forever, because it would be the most unprecedented dynasty in the history of the NFL. And not only did that not happen, they got absolutely destroyed. They got absolutely beat down. And the thing that bothers me now is coming into this season 7 months later is, and I hate to say it this way, but I'm just going to give you guys my honest viewpoint. If you disagree, that's okay. Trevor might disagree. Trevor and I have not even talked at all about this since the end of the game. We dapped it up and went our separate ways for the night after the game was over. But I felt a very similar vibe from that game. Now, obviously, the Chiefs didn't get destroyed like they did against the Eagles, but that's also because they were facing an inferior opponent. The Chargers, to me, are not as good of a team as they were last night. I think they're a good team for sure, and they're sure as hell coached very well. But I didn't see a team out there last night that the Chiefs couldn't have beat or shouldn't have beat. We're going to break down in a minute what Trevor and I saw in the X's and O's side of things, and then we're going to quickly get to you guys, because I think today's show needs to be dedicated more to you guys and what you saw, and then we'll react to it. But just briefly, the thing that makes me the most upset is the obvious. For whatever damn reason, every time the Chiefs play the Chargers, they lose a freaking star wide receiver. And it's self-inflicted too, which is even weirder. Last season, Patrick Mahomes rolls into Rashee Rice's knee and blows his knee out. 3 plays into this season, Travis Kelce, with his 260-pound frame, obliterates Xavier Worthy going across the middle, who weighs maybe 170 pounds at best. And we're still waiting on results on his shoulder. I'm not as optimistic as some. I'm hoping that he'll be back soon, but the way his arm, the motion after he got hit when he was getting up off the field, it looked like that shoulder was completely separated. Just being totally real with you guys. I'm no doctor, but that's just the way it looked. We're awaiting the results of that, but it's just it was like the Twilight Zone. It was like a reoccurrence of the Super Bowl and a reoccurrence of the Chargers game earlier last season. But besides that, the thing that upset me the most last night was 2 specific things. Once Xavier went out, the offense went into an absolute clunker. There was no rhythm. It felt like they didn't even have to get punched in the mouth to be put on their ass, if that makes sense. It felt like there was just... Now Patrick got great as the game went on. Patrick was magnificent. And as our producer Clay Windler said last night to me when I sent him the screen grab of Patrick literally being 90 degree or, fully, it looked like he was planking. Yeah. Horizontal. And the ball goes over the defender's hand. He makes an incredible play. Patrick having, 340 yards total, couple touchdowns. It all was for naught. And despite all that, it just felt like the offense just could not get out of its own way. There was no rhythm. There was no pace. It felt like there was not a lot of confidence. Juwan Taylor was, I think, I was, before we sat down today, Trevor, I saw Juwan jump the snap over here by the staircase. He cannot get out of his own way, to the point where Travis Kelce had to jump his ass on the field. The second thing for me was, I don't understand what the hell Steve Spagnuolo was doing. And we all know we're Team Spags here. We love Spags. He is, I think, the greatest DC this league's ever seen, which is why it is so puzzling, and why when you have a standard that high, You have to hold that person to that standard. You have to hold that team to that standard. And Spags did not hold that standard last night. Maybe some was not his fault because the fact they didn't have the rookie Norman Omar Lott. Norman Lott. But that's a rookie we're talking about here. You have veterans across this defense. You have guys that have won Super Bowls across this defense. And every single time the Chargers went in motion, the Chiefs couldn't do a damn thing. Guys were open all over the field, and then Spags continued to play this soft shell defense, this zone defense that was not beating anything or anyone or contending against anything or anyone. Justin Herbert was back there having Mai Tais.
Especially when you're not getting pressure, man.
He was back there doing his fucking taxes in that pocket and doing what he wanted to do. And to see the game end, and you can blame Chris Jones, and I kind of do because he's the best player and the longest tenured defender on this defense, when he goes on the inside and allows the opening on the outside for Justin Herbert to literally just moonwalk down the field for a 3rd and 14 conversion to end the game. Yeah, it's pretty damn frustrating. And I always give the defense as much credit as I possibly can because I think all things considered in the Super Bowl, they weren't the reason the Chiefs lost. In fact, they were the only reason that game wasn't like 69-0. But last night, Spags had a terrible game plan. There was no penetration to getting to Justin Herbert. There was no pressure on a consistent basis. And like I said, this bend but don't break defense was what I think kept the Chargers on the damn field so much, is why they almost converted 50% of their third downs, while the Chiefs went 5 of 14 on third downs. Isaiah Pacheco could not run through a hole if you walked him towards it. The instinctual patterns of that kid it absolutely drives me insane, man. And I love the guy, and I think he's been, obviously he exceeds all expectation, but for whatever reason, whenever there's a hole to walk right into the end zone, he decides to go the opposite way and just runs right into defenders. It's a very, to me, this game, I don't believe is going to be a precursor for how the Chiefs are going to continue to play, but this sets them so far behind in so many ways, because you still have 5 more games without Rashee Rice. You're probably not going to have Xavier Worthy for at least a couple games. And you're now relying on Hollywood Brown, who, for whatever reason, is trying to cosplay Demarcus Robinson every single chance he gets by running backwards. And you have 36-year-old Travis Kelce, who did have a big touchdown last night, but disappeared for large chunks of that game. And I'm not even trying to blame him. He's 36. It's what happens in the NFL.
For taking out
our
number 1 receiver
to top it all off.
Yeah.
Now guys like Tyquan Thornton and Brownlee become even more important, and that's just crazy to think about because that's your wide receiver 4 or 5 and 6. Jalen Royals, whenever he gets back, is now going to have to play a real role. And that's just, to me, just to start the season off, that's just such a bad place to be in. Now, I'm not going to trip on the whole Tranquil and Chris Jones thing. That's 2 competitors on a defense that want to win.
See that.
Yeah, that's brotherhood, man. We saw, even in training camp, Chris was killing George Karlaftis. That's brotherhood, man. That's what happens. But like I said, guys, I think this game I don't think it's a precursor to what we're going to see all season, but it does give me concern because of how the season is going to start for the Chiefs moving forward when you have some very tough opponents on the slate before you ever get Rashee Rice. And it's probably going to take Rashee a couple weeks to even get back into real football shape when it comes to being able to play, 40, 50 snaps and be an effective piece. It's probably going to take him a couple more weeks. So we're looking at the first 2 months of the season. The Chiefs are going to have to scrape and claw just to get to where they want to be. Now, that's the ideal. That's more ideal than having it at the back end of the season. That's why I was okay with the Rashee Rice suspension happening now. But this team's got real trouble. I'm legitimately concerned about the defensive line. Because imagine what last night would have looked like if they had Rashawn Slater, who's one of the best left tackles in this game, and Joe Alt would have played at right tackle. Do they touch him at all? I mean, shit, dude. The only time I saw Charles Omenihu touch Justin Herbert was when he dapped him up after the game. And this is a guy that's been talking hella shit on Twitter all offseason and showing us all these videos, and the dude disappeared. He was on a milk carton all night last night. And this is a veteran that wants to get an extension. This is a veteran that wants to get paid big bucks. Ashton Gillotte looks significantly better than he did, and that was Ashton Gillotte's first career game. 3rd-round pick. There's just a lot of errors that I think this coaching staff, and the good thing about it is this coaching staff is the type that can adjust to things. But what I don't like hearing is Andy Reid, after 7 months of preparation, coming out to the press after the game and saying that, well, we just didn't come out with the energy. We just didn't come out with the execution. Why? Why is that, Andy? You had 7 months to prepare for not only a game, a divisional game.
That's just coach speak, man. Just trying to get out of that press conference.
You're probably right.
His guys.
You're probably right. What I'm saying, though, is I don't buy it even if it is just coach speak, because what it is to me is it sounds to me like this team was not prepared, because that's not what I saw last night. I didn't see a team that was prepared for last night's game.
Well, they might not have been. I think they're prepared for last night's game. I just don't think they're prepared to lose Xavier in the first drive.
Well, true. And this is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to hand it to you.
That's a fair point, honestly. That's fair.
Sure. I get that. My thing is, though, is that we saw this team go 13-2 without Rashee Rice last season. Mm-hmm. We saw this team, despite not having a true left tackle last season, go 15-2. This team overcomes things, and I felt like losing Xavier sucks. Yeah. That is, especially so early in the game.
We did those things without Rashee, but we had Xavier in place.
But what I'm seeing, though, from this offense in particular, and I want to hand it to you, Trevor, is it sometimes it does feel like they marvel at the Mahomes magic, where it's like, oh my God, it's so much fun to watch, and the way he creates things and the way he's able to pull things out of his ass. It's almost like they want to just kind of sit back and enjoy it with the rest of us, as opposed to setting him up for the success with better play calls or execution. It feels like, well, he'll get us out of it. He'll make a crazy ass play. Oh, he does it. Offense clunks. That's literally what it looked like last night. Unless he does something just marvelous, magnificent, the offense did nothing last night. Patrick Mahomes literally carried that offense on his back last night.
I'm going to be real. Since Mahomes has been the starter here, a lot of the times the offense has been like that. When we haven't had dynamic players out there making plays, it's kind of always been Mahomes' MO to kind of just freelance and be that guy. It's very Brett Favre-ish. There's not a lot of rhythm and consistency to Mahomes-led offenses, if I'm being honest. There's not a lot of 2-3 step dropbacks and just delivering a ball in rhythm. It doesn't happen a lot. Yeah. And it's been some years since we've seen any kind of consistent rhythm in the passing game outside of Mahomes extending the play and finding someone downfield. Or just outside of Travis Kelce just being open and finding ways to get open and him finding him. There hasn't been a lot of consistency with receivers, running crisp routes and getting separation, and Pat finding him in rhythm on a just a traditional design play like we were seeing from Herbert led offense last night, where him just dropping back, dropping it to someone to beat the zone defense with ease, finding someone wide open like that. It's really frustrating, bro. It is frustrating to have to watch Mahomes have to create all the time and do things, or have to run because there's no juice in the offense. Yeah, that is frustrating. Mahomes was great last night. I think it was a massive blow, bro. Immediately, for the morale of the team, with Xavier getting knocked out again, another friendly fire injury, to basically start a season. Within last year was week 3. This year is week 1 right out the gate.
Yep. In
Brazil, our number 1 receiver while Rashee is now out, possibly for the season. Who knows what the deal is with him? It could be a serious injury. We don't know. The fact that we haven't heard anything yet sucks, and that's kind of scary. Because I had a lot of high hopes for Xavier Worthy this season. Especially in this game. I thought if Xavier was playing this game, and I know this is going to sound like excuses. It is what it is, but it's just a fact of reality. Losing him was massive, and I think he was going to be he was going to have a big game against that secondary. I don't think they had a true matchup for him, and that sucks. But the positive for me, man, I still believe in this team is not down. This is a we just been to 3 straight Super Bowls, dude. This is a team that's going to be as resilient as anybody. Sucks we got to go immediately play the Eagles next week. That sucks. But then again, we're going back home. That there's no better way to rally and figure things out than go back home to Arrowhead, get some juice going, because I liked what I saw of the team in the second half. The defense came out two stops immediately. That was good to see. The defense looked good. We just didn't. It's just the same problems of last year. The defense are the same problems continuing. It's third downs.
Yeah.
Third and longs, third mediums. We can't get teams off the field. It doesn't matter who it is.
Or how long the third down is.
Yeah, man. That is the killer. And I think that's what lost us the game last night. Outside of Bucker missing a fucking extra point, I don't understand how you can go out there and you got 3 seconds to kick a 59
59-yarder.
yarder in a split second, no problem, nails, and you miss an extra point. That point was big, bro. I know we lost by 6, but that point was big because it would have been a 1-score game going down rather than us having to go score twice. It could have been a whole different thing, but just the little things, man. And I think the biggest thing starting the game off with losing Xavier Worthy was just a shot. The whole first half was just a wash, in my opinion, because we didn't recover. We came out with some juice in the second half. I thought Pat looked great. He had that over my dead body way about him. Did everything he could to win that game. Travis Kelce was a no-show in the first half. That was just unacceptable, especially knowing Rasheed's out. Hollywood Brown, I think, was a plus. I think he played well other than the first half of the drops. He recovered. He had like 15 targets and had over 100 yards receiving, I believe, and should have scored a touchdown. That's why I say Xavier Worthy would have made this game different, because if that route is Xavier Worthy on that play, he scores there.
Yeah.
He doesn't try to evade the defender. He just uses the whole other half of the field to dart that way and just get into the pay dirt. Very confusing and puzzling for why Hollywood Brown didn't just do that and there's an easy walk, and then Travis Kelce dropping a walk-in touchdown. Several things we left on the. This game was very winnable for the Chiefs, and that's what's frustrating here. Very winnable game, and it sucks too. You hear after the game, you hear Justin Herbert getting interviewed, and he's like, "Yeah, it's just another game for us." That's frustrating because that's not the truth. They want to downplay it and act like this was another game for you. Come on, man. This is the Chiefs are 1-7 against or Andy Reid in the last 8 years 1-7 in week 1 opening games. So it was a massive loss for the Chiefs. It really is. This one hurts because now we're in a hole immediately in the division. Starting 0-1 is just not a good feeling because we tend to not do that, no matter who we're playing. So, very questionable defensive play calling from Spags, in my opinion. There were some really cool drawn up blitzes and disguised blitzes per usual. There's always those. Drew Tranquil was the star of the night of the defense, in my opinion. He played out of his mind, as he does against the Chargers. He was awesome. So if we can continue to get that kind of Drew Tranquil for the rest of the season, that's exciting. That's a fun thing to look forward to because he was a little down last year, in my opinion. I think to his standard, he didn't have the best year last year. Yeah. So if he can continue to play like this and be that leader, I'm loving that. But yeah, no lack of adjustments on defense was killing us. We were just getting eaten alive underneath in the intermediate part of the field, the wide open middle. That's been a Spags thing though. He's allowed teams to eat over the middle. Keenan Allen looked good, man. Him and McConkey were just obviously Quentin Johnson just once again multiple touchdowns against us. I don't know what it is, man. Justin Herbert was awesome though, bro. Got to give him credit. Justin Herbert looked great. Couldn't have started better for him this season. All that being said, though, I still feel like this game was with all the things going against us, man, this is still a very winnable game for us. We left a lot on the field once again. Got some things to figure out whether we got to make a move and sign another receiver or hope that Jalen Royals can come in and be a part of this offense and maybe make something out of this. I'm not putting my money on Hollywood Brown to be that dude because that was just a volume play by just default, him having to be that guy. But he's not a guy you want to rely on to go win games. Just he's just kind of one of those extras, in my opinion. So yeah, zero running game from the offense too. Like you said, Pacheco just looked. Like I said, man, I'm just not. I love the person. I'm just not a big Pacheco guy. He's a very inefficient runner, in my opinion. Never beats first contact. If he doesn't get taken down by the first contact, it stumbles him up enough to where he just can't get past him, and they get the group tackle on him. He's not a guy that's just going to go out there and make guys miss. It's really frustrating. Honestly, I think Kareem Hunt looked better, in my opinion. I'd rather feed Kareem 12 to 15 rushes a game than Pacheco. Yep. I know that sounds crazy because he doesn't have the juice. He doesn't have the burst ability, but he's a guy that's always moving forward. He will make the first guy miss or at least run through the first guy to get another couple extra yards via effort. And I just don't – Pacheco just doesn't have it for me, man. Yeah, can he be a guy that can hit that gap every once in a while, get a big home run play or get 15 to 30 yards on a big play every once in a while? Yeah. Cool, but like on the ins and outs and the down by down trustworthiness, I'm trusting old ass 30-year-old Kareem Hunt at this point. So I just getting the running game figured out, having a balanced attack offensively, and rhythm. Yeah, a lot of negatives. Honestly, it's get easy to be down right now. But there's some things that were positive. I think Pat looks very driven. That's a good thing to see because last year. he looked defeated a lot of times, and that was tough to watch. But now, like I said, with Xavier Worthy possibly being down for however long, that's just another thing we got to overcome. And it feels like this team always has to overcome something. We just never really smooth sailing.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we got a lot of things to figure out. The takeaways, I don't want people to overreact from week one, positively or negatively, specifically the negative since we lost the game, because we got a big game looming in the mist right now. So we got to get right back on it. You have some amnesia. Losing a divisional game to start the season sucks. Really, really sucks. But then again, that's a good team over there, man. And I like I said, I think the Chargers are a good team. I think they're going to be a good team this year. The defense, I will say the positive on the defensive side, though, just to end this here, I think the rush defense still looks really good. That's a good offensive line there, and that Omarion Hampton was one of the highest touted running backs coming into the draft. They got Najee Harris over there, who's a solid guy, especially between the tackles. We shut the running game down. We forced them to be one-dimensional, and they still beat us, and so kudos to them. But if anything, pros, we just got to keep that rush defense doing what we do. It still looks good. But we got to get pressure on the quarterback, especially if we want that. If we're going to play some soft zone shit, we're going to be doing some zone blitzes and stuff like that and getting creative. We got to get to the quarterback. Setting the edge is one thing, but getting pressure and touching and, getting hands on the quarterback is what you got to do. And we just didn't do it enough, and we didn't make Herbert uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He's able to make plays all night.
I think the run defense looked fine. I do think, though, that there's something to the fact that I don't think the Chargers felt like they needed to run a lot last night, because you think about it, Omarion Hampton only had 15 rush attempts.
Right.
I think it's because of the fact
neither team really ran the ball.
Justin Herbert completed 74% of his 34 pass attempts, and was averaging 9.5 yards an attempt. They were getting whatever they wanted whenever they wanted to in the pass game, and that's what was pissing me off about Spags. Is it all starts with what they built this defense as in the offseason, and I don't feel like they did enough to this point. Now, obviously, if Omar Norman Lott comes in and starts playing really well, and some of these other guys that are new to the defense, continue to progress, then it's going to look different. But the fact that we have this deficiency right now in the defensive line area, and the fact that Spags was keeping 3 safeties on the field so much as opposed to adding another corner is another issue. Because what it's doing is it's opening up so much. Like you saw Rich Eisen and the guys, they were breaking down that one pass where they had a deep post, and then a right side, Lad McConkey goes over the middle, and there's just nothing there. There's just nothing but space. Senior citizen Keenan Allen runs right up in the middle of through the defense into the end zone. Not touched, no contention, nothing. And the ball just sails right to him. He literally, Herbert could have went and just strolled into the end zone and handed it to Keenan Allen, and the defense still wouldn't have had time to get it to him. There was just so many miscalculations, miscommunications. I understand it's week one, but we're talking about a team, and this is why I finished off my tweeting rant last night by saying that I'm not looking for the positives of this game. I understand it was a one-possession game, which ironically is the first one-possession game the Chiefs have lost in their last 17, which creates a new narrative that, the Chiefs can't win close games now, and that's going to be something we're going to have to take on. But the issue is now is, do they have the pieces in place to get the job done defensively and offensively? Because from the sounds of it, man, and I said that's why I'm not trying to look at the positives, is the fact that this is a team that has a Super Bowl standard.
Yep.
And we're not here to look for moral victories. We're here to look for actual victories, because that's what this team has told us they are. And if Xavier, there is a real chance that Xavier Worthy might miss the whole season.
He might require surgery. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
That's if he has an AC joint issue, that can perhaps a broken collarbone on top of it. Who knows?
Yeah,
a lick.
There's a video out there on Twitter right now, and pictures of it. It looks like one of the coaches or one of the medical staff is popping his shoulder back
I'm
in.
assuming it's an AC joint.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he definitely looked like he dislocated his shoulder. But I'll say this too, dude, we got to be honest, man. Every week changes things, for good or for worse. This could be a rockier season than we expected. It's off to a really tough start.
Yep.
Because we're without our true number one receiver already. Travis Kelce is not looking like himself anymore. It just is what it is. He had a big play on that, but other than that, that was a great touchdown. That was awesome. incredible drawn up play there. But other than that, Travis wasn't doing much.
Right.
I think he had one catch before that. So now we're without Xavier Worthy for who knows how long. And now we got, maybe Jalen Royals and a couple other guys, Hollywood Brown, maybe to be picking up the scraps. This could be a long season.
Yeah.
I think we need to brace ourselves for that, because especially if we go into this Eagles game and we're down Xavier Worthy and this defense is allowing Herbert to do that, who knows what this Eagles offense could do. So if we don't adjust, if we don't make the proper preparations for some of these games, man, it could brace yourself. It could be a long season, but I still have faith in this team to adjust. Like you said, we haven't been to 3 straight Super Bowls the last 3 years for no reason. This is a team that finds ways to overcome. Obviously, having the best head coach and quarterback duo in the league helps with that. But there's only so much Pat can do. Pat played it well enough to win last night. It still didn't matter because it's a team effort, obviously. So, yeah, man, I'm just saying, like, that. Not trying to be doom and gloom, but this could be a longer season than expected. I mean, I had the Chiefs. My prediction was Chiefs going 15-2. This was easily one of my wins to predicted.
Yep.
This changes everything.
Yep.
This loss to start this season changes everything, because now like I said, we go right into facing the freaking Super Bowl champs.
Right.
This is not going to be an easy season right now, man. Especially to start. Now we don't have possibly our 2 starting best receivers and playmakers for this offense.
Right. And this is where I want to kind of get to the people, kind of segue to you guys and get your questions, comments, takes, concerns, all that in there, guys, because we'll get it to the screen and we'll react to as much as we can today. I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat talking about Justin Simmons. The Chiefs need to bring him in. The Chiefs, and I agree. Actually, I do, because the team at this point, you're looking for depth. You're not looking for a genuine difference maker. Guys that aren't going to come in here and take the defense over and become the guy. That's not how this is going to work. So I want Justin Simmons too, but I think it's for different reasons. I want him just as a depth piece because that's what he's going to be. There's a reason why he's still sitting out there, and no one has been like, what are we going to do to get you? That's not the player he is, guys. So I hope that when we talk about this, we're talking about this guy for what he is, not what we want him to be. He's not going to come in here and become prime Tyrann Mathieu. He's not going to come in here and become, some Ed Reed. It's going to be a solid piece to a defense that needs it. That's what we have to expect. And, sorry, guys, I'm dying over here slowly. But, the thing that really I have to, and maybe I sound like a bitter fan here, but how in the fuck did how was he allowed to stay in that game last night?
Pretty wild, man.
The night before the Chiefs game, we see Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott and he's ejected immediately, and rightfully so. He deserved that. He deserved that ejection. If he gets suspended, I'm not against it either. But Tart literally hits Travis Kelce full-fledged right in the face mask, flush, and knocks Travis Kelce's head back. And he gets a penalty? Oh, well, it was open-handed. It wasn't closed-fisted. Oh, cool. So how about this? How about the Chiefs just start doing that on every fucking play?
Well, let me go to the local bar and open hand hit someone.
Yeah.
See if I get arrested.
Let's see if it's assault, Trevor.
You know what I mean?
The cops will come to the bar and throw a flag at you.
Yeah, bro.
That's what they'll do.
That's crazy.
50 fucking yards, bitch. Like, that's what they're going to do when I open hand
and it's
check somebody in the lips.
That's too, because that dude Dart made 2 big batted
That's
balls.
my point.
3 batted balls.
Yeah, he's the reason why they didn't get the 2-point conversion when it was 20-18. So, look, man.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the reason the Chiefs lost the game. It's not. But I find it funny that stuff like that happens, and then we're sitting here looking at the blatant holding penalty that Shamari Connor did get against Najee Harris on the actual game-deciding play, because it was the game-winning touchdown in the grand scheme of things. Those are things that I really hope people, for what this is worth, man, maybe this is just a sidebar. I really hope you jackasses out there that think that the Chiefs get all the calls and things go in the Chiefs' favor all the time. I really hope you remember those 2 things. That Dart assaulted Travis Kelce on the football field and did not suffer the same punishment that Jalen Carter did when he put some DNA on Dak Prescott. I hope you remember that. When Najee Harris is literally he's pulling back Jamari Conner from getting to Justin Herbert while he throws the game-deciding touchdown. I hope you guys remember this shit. Because that is the reality. Oh, and by the way, Trevor, did you know the Chiefs had more penalties than the Chargers again? That is now the 5th straight game the Chiefs have had more penalties than the Chargers have in their matchups. 5th straight. So I hope you guys remember this shit. Again, I'm not saying that's the reason the Chiefs did not win this game. That is not. But it all plays a part in the grand scheme of things. And when you see stuff like that, I just hope that you guys can all understand that there is no fix. There is no bullshit script. This was bad officiating. And imagine that. It was Carl fucking Sheffers. I mean, that's just so on
Funny
brand.
enough, the narrative was the Chiefs were going to be favored because Sheffers was there. Like, you guys must not understand. I don't like having the ref conversation either way.
It sucks to have to even mention, but I had to get that out there because I know the fans feel the same way, and I know you and I were feeling the same way.
I'm of the mind. This is why you'll never really see me like. I mean, there's bad calls. We've experienced bad calls go in our favor, and several bad calls not go in our favor. And I feel
that's how football goes.
That's human. That's the human element to the game. That's just another human element. Just like players making mistakes, refs can also make mistakes, and they don't see every damn thing. So I feel like especially when like the Chiefs being favored by the refs, that's a for me when I see that in the chat, because that's happening right now in our chat. That's loser narrative. Y'all can talk amongst yourselves. That's how I see it. Like that's for everybody else who's not a winning team, who's not cheering for a winning team. We're over here. So that's where I'm at. Like, you can talk amongst yourselves. That's fine. Yeah. Enjoy that. We're gonna keep doing what we do. We coming off a 3rd trip to the Super Bowl, to the dance.
Yeah.
So like that's just like, it sucks because I know it's easy. That's the easy thing to do, is to talk about the referees. It's the same thing with baseball. You know, was that a strike? Was it not a strike? You know, whatever. But yeah, it sucks. The holding call was the lack of the holding call was unfortunate because that was a big time play, and when it happened on basically game deciding plays, sucks. But we also, you know, lost a very important player. That was the most impactful play of the night.
Yep.
You know, and Chris Jones fucking blowing a normal edge setting play cost us a lot.
And that funny too about Chris Jones, and like you guys know, I'm the biggest Chris Jones defender and fan there is.
For sure.
We love Chris Jones, man. It's very hard to find ways to critique the man. He wants to play defensive end a lot. And look, I'm in support of it because the man can get to the quarterback more than almost any player in this league. But if you want to play edge, you know what you got to do? Sometimes you got to set the fucking edge, Chris. And a lot of times, Chris gets a little lofty out there, man, when it comes to playing edge. There's a reason it's called defensive end, because you're the one that plays the end. I know that sounds wild, Chris, but I was 100% on Drew Tranquil's side last night, for what it's worth. Like, again, I think that's just two brothers, you know, having it out, and they got it out and they moved on. But for my 2 cents, Tranquil was 100% correct. He's like, I'm out here trying to win, and you can't keep contained. That was the biggest reason why that play happened the way it did. Like you just said, dude. So, without question, an absolutely frustrating night. I wasn't expecting the Chiefs to go out there and drop 44. Yeah. You know, I wasn't expecting the Chiefs to set the world on fire, but I was expecting
having your most explosive player immediately knocked out of the game. I think you could deduct 10 points at least there.
And, you know, and we know that football is a form of entertainment. And, you know, leading into this season, we saw the way the Chiefs lost that Super Bowl. We heard all the talk, and we heard Pacheco talking about this is my revenge tour. And we see the big documentary the ESPN puts out there of the Chiefs. And, you know, Chris Jones ends I'm not going to give the spoiler, but, you know, there's something he says towards the end of the show to get you pumped up.
1 week, bro.
You're right. But what I'm saying, though, is it's a form of entertainment. And as a person who consumes football for entertainment purposes as well, it was very disappointing to see the team go out there like that and play like that, because they had all off season to prep for this one particular game to show the world, hey, motherfuckers, we're back. That Super Bowl, that's in the past.
Yep.
But then they come out with the same type of tempo offensively that they did in that game. when you know they had all these differences they made on offensive line, which, by the way, offensive line looked good. I will say, Josh Simmons looked good, Kingsley looked good, but what I'm saying is, when you lose a player like Xavier Worthy, it should hurt. It should make things more difficult. But you have enough around Patrick Mahomes, even with that, to overcome that.
Yeah.
And I felt like you said, the Kelsey drop towards the end zone, Hollywood Brown out there doing Michael Jackson impersonations.
Dude, if Hollywood Brown
what I
or
mean?
Travis Kelsey, either one catches it, this is an entirely different game.
Yeah.
It's an entirely different game, bro. So
And credit to the Chargers. I will say that. Let's tip our cap too, man.
Of course, that's why. Yeah,
The
only
gameplay
thing
was
that bugged
awesome.
me was Justin Herbert's post game saying this
Yeah.
is just another game.
That's obviously
Where
stupid.
you
as
know
fuck.
you're lying, bro.
Yeah.
You're lying.
This was the biggest win of Justin Herbert's career.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. That was the biggest win of his career.
Especially on a neutral field, that's a big win for them, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if this was at home and they got it, granted their fan base is never like some home field advantage, but still, like to go into Brazil on a neutral field against the Chiefs, like he caught us, man. He caught us this time. Like this is a straight up first time I can really say Justin Herbert went out there and beat us.
Yeah.
And I'll give him credit.
Yeah, and like I said, you guys get as many questions as you can in and out because we would love to get to you guys. I do want to get to Mac 10's comment when he said, I know there isn't a lot of positives for this game, but I thought the O-line was pretty good, and the sacks were mostly outside the pocket.
Yep.
It's a little overreaction, but it is next week. But is next week a must win? I don't usually play into the whole must win thing with the Chiefs because I've seen this team in 2021.
It's not time to panic, bro.
Yeah,
let's chill.
I think it is. I think it is a time to be alert, though.
Yep,
it's definitely time to be alert.
If we lost this game and Xavier Worthy was intact and it was okay, we just got outclassed and straight up beating this game like the way we lost the Packers a couple years ago. We just got our ass.
Yeah, Packers beat them.
You can take that L, move forward. You still got your guys. We're down, men.
Yeah,
that's the nerve-wracking part right now. How do we figure this out? Because we don't have Rasheed right now. We have him looking forward to in several weeks, but now we're down him and Xavier Worthy, and who knows how long Xavier's out. Travis is looking old still, and Hollywood Brown's got the dropsies. He made up for it because he got just peddled with targets. But, I mean, our running game is just non-existent right now. Are we going to go more 12, 13 personnel and, have a shit ton of tight ends out there and switch things up? And because we might have to make some big changes here in this offense, especially if Xavier's out for the year or something like that. It's tough, man. So that is the most worrisome part. But the mentality of this team, I do not question. This team going in there and watching the film and being fucking furious and coming out here and having a much better game plan moving forward the rest of the year, fully expect.
Especially a home opener.
Fully expect.
Against a team that clapped
the
them.
The energy is going to be different in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
But we got the best challenger possible coming in Arrowhead.
Right.
It's so one of the few teams that's actually embarrassed us in the Mahomes era in the biggest stage. So that's a challenge, man, and that is something to worry about. But the mentality of this team, the leadership of this team, I have never faltered or questioned, ever. So, especially when one of those leaders made a massive mistake in that game.
Yep.
So.
And I think our guy John Harrison made a really good point, too, in the chat when he said Hunt and Pacheco each had 5 carries. Pacheco got 25. Hunt had 16. They need to get under center and run more, be more physical. So you guys know that
the dogs for that, though.
That's the thing, though, is the question is now being begged because the offensive line has been upgraded. And we know that the defense has their struggles right now. Do the Chiefs adapt to more of a slow the ball down? Because this is what they did last season. They slowed the ball down. They were having 12, 13, 14, play drives. They had one last night where I think it was like 16 plays. And they ended up with a fucking field goal.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. But if they slow the ball down a little bit, maybe give their defense more breaks, more time to rest, maybe that helps things out a little bit. Like I said, we are so new into this season that we don't really know what's to come. Because for all we know, Xavier Worthy or not, Chiefs might go out there next week and beat the Eagles and say, hey, look, the offense looked good last night. We already react the next week like, that wasn't the same offense I saw against the Chargers in Brazil. Maybe it was this. Maybe we start theorizing. I don't know. We're going to find out. We're one game in, and I got a ton of fucking questions that need to be answered.
Yeah.
And I don't see a Radio Shack around. So we need the Chiefs to answer these questions.
Well,
we
John
need
Harrison
them.
has another comment here as well. He says, to me, the most glaring, shocking thing was the defensive game plan. It looked like a different philosophy. Hopefully this is a wake-up call to the players and coaches. Listen, John, that's a good point, and I think I agree. That was the most annoying thing last night.
Yeah.
I'm not, even if Xavier's out, I'm still not worried about this offense because if anything I trust in this team, it's Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and guys to figure out ways to go get points.
Right.
We weren't a great offense the last 2 years. We were still, middle of the pack And I fully expect when Rasheed gets back, this offense is going to be good. Because Pat looks awesome, man. Pat has that look in his eye, and it was different than last year. He doesn't look defeated. Pat was out there, especially coming into that second half. Pat refused to lose that game. We still lost, obviously, but Pat still had that, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And if he can carry that in week in to week out, that's a good thing you can move forward with. But yeah, I think the defensive strategy was just terrible last night. There were some really cool design blitzes. That design blitz that he had with Drew Tranquil when he put Herbert on his ass.
Yeah,
that was so cool to see. Dude, that was so sneaky. But you can't rely on sneaky plays to make. You got to be consistent, right? And start taking away the things you're giving them, because the things we were giving them were just gashing us.
Yep.
It wasn't like we were letting a 5-yard run, 10 to 12-yard run here and there. It was 15, 30-yard receptions. That can't happen, bro. That demoralizes your defense.
Yep.
Chris Jones having to take breaks on the sideline, huffing and puffing with his helmet off, taking a knee. That's not a good look, man.
Yep. And a lot of times, and to his defense, a lot of that is because he's getting doubled and triple teamed almost every fucking down.
For sure, because they know. I mean, especially when we got rookies, we got a guy we just brought back in Noddy who's still getting reacclimated. We're without Omar Norman a lot, who's been killing it at practice and in camp, been one of the darlings of camp. Not having him out there too, a guy that I do think is a difference maker. Yeah, I mean that puts that much more on Chris Jones. Even though I think Drew Tranquil picked up a lot of the slack. Drew Tranquil was awesome.
He was fantastic.
So I mean that's something, like I said, to build on. Nick Bolton made some really good plays. He got in the backfield a couple times, stuffed the run really well. Actually made some plays in coverage too, which was pretty impressive. So there's something to build on, but the secondary and then the lack of pressure consistently on Herbert was just. And I know that's a good O-line. I'll give them that. It's still a good O-line, Slater or not.
And I don't know if this is obvious, but Noah Williams needs more snaps.
Yeah, Jaden Hicks was pretty bad.
I'm talking about corner though.
I know. I'm just saying
they got to get Noah out there more often,
bro.
I really, and that's why this is a great point brought up.
Justin
about
Watson made a couple good plays.
The game plan was very confusing from the defensive side because,
Jalen Watson, not Justin.
Yeah, I know what you meant. It felt like Spags was still trying to figure out what his defense is. Maybe I saw it differently, but it felt very on the fly. Yeah. Is that the right way of putting it? Like, Spags is one of those guys that is overly prepared. It doesn't often feel like Spags doesn't know what's going on. Like, he may not have the Jimmies and Joes, but the X's and O's are always tight.
Yeah.
The X's and O's were anything but tight. Them shits were looser than a fucking wet noodle, dude. Like, them shits, they was bad last night from all intents and purposes of the coaching staff. And that's why I can't accept, and I'm sorry, Andy is the best coach I've ever seen in Kansas City. I think he's going to go down as the greatest coach we've ever seen. But I can't accept him just going out there saying, well, we just don't have the energy, man. No. The energy has to be there. It's game fucking one. You're in Brazil with 60 million people watching you.
The energy in the first half for sure was not good. The energy in the second half, I loved it.
Yeah.
We whipped on some big plays that actually cost us the game in the second half. I get that. But the energy switched in the second half. Patrick Mahomes' mentality, Travis Kelce getting on Juwan Taylor's ass, bumping him and yelling in his face. That shit was good to see.
Yeah.
Even though, listen, I know Juwan Taylor's getting absolutely crucified for good reason.
Rightfully so.
But the holding was unacceptable. He shouldn't have been holding like that. The holding calls I have more of a problem with. Honestly, bro, I still don't understand why he's getting called so much about the jump. Lane Johnson does the exact same thing every single week, bro. And
the difference is there isn't a narrative created around.
That's what I'm saying. That's what pisses me off the most. Like, he had 4 fucking penalties.
Like, I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. Chris Collinsworth started this shit.
Yeah, and the refs have game plans too.
Look at that guy here, Mike.
Well, bro, refs have.
He's jumping the fucking snap.
Refs have game plans. They have guys that they look out for. They even showed the replays. He's jumping right as the ball's getting snapped. I just don't. I think it's just getting blown out of proportion, in my opinion. But I'm not here to defend him because he definitely was one of the worst parts of the game last night. But I'm tired of taking penalties for something that's done by several other players weekly without them getting penalized. Yep. I just don't. It's frustrating, bro. But
maybe we feel like you and I should do our own calling games, like, we do like our own broadcast, and when like the Eagles play, like next week, in fact, and we start doing the Chris Collinsworth voice, and then I'm like, Trev, we're looking at a guy here in Lane Johnson, probably gonna make the Hall of Fame first ballot.
He's jumping on snap.
Careful that voice, dude. You only got so much left.
I know I'm like dying over here, but I actually sound closer to Chris Collinsworth this week, which is great. I almost like don't have to imitate him. But yeah, I was trying to do the slide too. I couldn't do it very well, but like maybe if we do that and like it picks some traction up on the Soj, maybe Lenny Johnson starts getting that fucking call. I don't know, because I watched Juwan Taylor back in his Jaguar days. He wasn't getting those calls. He wasn't getting those.
He's been doing it his whole career.
Yeah. And then he comes to Kansas City and Collinsworth opens his fucking voice modulated ass voice and he's
again, I'm not here like blaming the refs because listen, bro, if you know you're getting picked on, stop. You know what I'm saying? Like there comes a point where like, okay, dude, stop doing it. If you're not getting, it's not that much of an edge to jump right as the ball is getting snapped. Just delay it a little.
Yeah.
Because you're killing us. Even if it's right or wrong from the refs to make those calls, stop doing it, dude. Like 4 penalties is unacceptable. That's unacceptable for one lineman to get 4 penalties, dude. It is.
That's why I loved when, even though Travis literally almost assassinated Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Travis was like, motherfucker,
yeah,
dude, bumped into him. Like, come on, man.
Listen, even if it is unfair treatment that you're getting in comparison to other guys that can do the exact same thing across the league.
Yeah.
Maybe there's just a slight towards us. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not here making any kind of conspiracies. I'm definitely not. But just stop doing it. Just do the normal. Wait for the ball to get snapped and then boom, go. Be quick. You're a great athlete. You can make up for it, but just maybe stop, man.
I feel like our show's kind of turning into that SNL skit with Chris Farley and Adam Sandler when Adam Sandler like saying, "Please, I mean you home." And then Chris started, "For the love of God!" Like for the love of God, you're like, "Did you stop? For the love of God, will you guys stop jumping the fucking snap?" Like,
bro.
I feel like we're like, becoming that. I know you're probably all young out there, but if you watch that, you'll know what I'm talking about. But
man, Chris Farley, RIP.
Let's get to some questions here, man. You guys got questions? We got answers. Let's do it. Trev, let's get to people. Let's try to make sense of what's happened so far in this season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, earlier before the show really kicking, Justin Norton got his first question, of course, damn near every week off the top rope. Our
My guy,
Justin Norton, Randy Dusty Orton, off the top rope. Speak it. What the hell was that?
I don't know, but in the words of Trevor, stop,
dude. It's not that simple, man. Listen, Dustin, bro, it was tough to watch, man. There were some fun moments of the game. Like I said, I think I really liked what I saw to Pat. I liked his aura, if you will. I thought Pat looked really good. Any other game, if we weren't dealing with a significant injury right off the gate, I think we win this game if Xavier doesn't go down. I truly do believe that, and that sucks. And you can play the whole, what if narrative, and that you kind of have to because that's a massive shift in the energy of the game for us, man. And the first half was bad. We were bad in the first half. Offensively, couldn't string a decent drive together. It was tough to watch. Harrison Bucker kicking that quick field goal was like the highlight of our offense, and that can't happen. Second half, if we played like this we did in the second half offensively, we win that game. In the first half, if we had that same energy in the first half, we win this game because I think Pat had figured out some things on the offense. Pat is out there truck sticking guys to get to the sideline. Pat was like, "Fuck you, I'm winning this game." If you had that mentality from the jump, granted, he might not have had to have that mentality from the jump if Xavier didn't go down because we have our most explosive weapon. Even when Rasheed's here, he's still our most explosive weapon. Go down. That's just a kick in the nuts, man. Yep. It sucked, especially the fact that it's another friendly fire injury on this team. I don't know what's going on. A lot of questions though, man. A lot of things we got to figure out, going into this next matchup. But that was a tough game. That was a tough one, a tough L to take. Sucks losing to a divisional foe, especially with all the narratives going around because it's going to be this. What's good. The narratives are going to be heading into this week against the Eagles. That the Chiefs are in trouble in the division. All the people that were saying we're going to lose the division, possibly miss the playoffs, are all going to be going nuts this week, and we have to hear it all week. It's up to us to change that narrative and flip it on its head by going to beat the Eagles. But yeah, man, what the hell was that? It's a fair question.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better, man.
Dustin Norton follows that up with, speak it. Based on that monstrosity, think we panic sign someone?
I don't know about panic sign, but there's definitely it showed us that there is a need. And now if Xavier Worthy is gone for any length of time, I think that the Chiefs have to kind of get a little creative. I do think, though, that this may have to force the hand of utilizing Jalen Royals in his rookie year a little earlier than anticipated. I told you guys all throughout the offseason that I look at Jalen Royals as more of a 2026 guy, kind of like how I did with Josh Simmons, but I might be wrong about this one too. because they may need Jalen Royals this year. Now, I do think that Tyquan Thornton, who showed last night he can be relied upon when called, I do think that he's going to play a little bit more of a role.
He's going to have to.
Juju was, we didn't even talk about Juju, but Juju was, every time the ball was in his vicinity, he made a play. I told you last night, Joe, I thought Juju was going to have a pretty good game. He did.
Depending on how quickly Jalen Royals gets back, because I do think Jalen Royals, you know how I feel about him.
Sure.
Love the kid. I think he's going to be a playmaker if he gets out in the field and gets his chance.
Yeah.
Say he doesn't play next week. I think Nico has to be more involved in this passing game.
I was warming up to that one. Yeah,
an explosive guy that gives you an edge.
Yep.
With great hands.
He put them in great field position multiple times last night.
Outside of maybe Tyquan Thornton after the catch ability.
Yeah.
I think Nico's our best player after the catch right now. Hollywood did not show me enough juice after the catch.
That's
he
fair.
looked pretty bad.
That's fair.
Catch. There's no excuse to.
That's crazy.
Nico scores on that big play downfield.
Yeah.
Nico knows to use that entire left side of the field to go run and just get to the pay dirt.
Yeah.
I think Nico has more juice than Hollywood at this point, bro. Hollywood is going to get his targets and get his receptions, especially with Xavier down. But a guy that has good catch after the catchability, I know he's an undersized guy too, but I think Nico's got way more upside at this point, other than maybe Tyquan Thornton. I think Tyquan Thornton's probably our biggest big play guy that left right now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to say right now. That's the guy that we were questioning that was on going to make the team or not. Now he's maybe our biggest play kind of guy. But I will say, man, about this offense, like I think last year, I think who was it that was saying after the game? I heard somebody saying it after the game, but the Chiefs, I think, had 17 plays of 30 yards last year, all last year. We had, I think, 3 or 4 plays of 30-plus yards last year.
And why is that?
Well, Tyquan Thornton was one of those guys.
But Patrick has time in the pocket.
I was going to segue that. And how do we feel? No, you're good. You're good. How do we feel about this O-line?
Yeah.
You know, especially the pass pro.
Yeah.
I thought the pass pro was way better because we had if we went into this game, we had the O-line of last year. We probably would have lost by more for sure. Like
yes.
If
Wanya Morass is over there in left tackle, yeah, it's bad.
I mean, we would have been scheming quick plays and in routes to guys that didn't deserve it. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was impressed with the pass protection. I think it's something to look forward to. That's going to progress and get better. But yeah, I was impressed with Simmons. I thought he played well. I think he had 1 penalty,
and there was no negatives for my boy Kingsley. My boy Kingsley who wants to eat balled.
The guards played really, really well.
Yes,
I'll give him that. Creed had a blunder, in my opinion, where he let that pressure come up the gut, and
that was kind of weird.
It was a weird play. I just think it was one of those plays that was just an odd.
Overall, though, Creed was great.
He had a free, you can't allow a free runner on pack. No. But yeah, man, I wouldn't call it a monstrosity. I mean, it was a tough loss. We played much better in the second half, but you lose. I mean, any team loses their number one offensive weapon going into a game like that, especially to start a season. Yeah. We don't. I mean, he was going to be the game plan.
Yeah,
Xavier Worthy was going to be the game plan. That. We saw him, remember last year.
Yeah.
It was his first game as a pro, scored twice in the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
In the opening game last year.
Yep.
You don't think this dude could have destroyed that secondary of the Chargers? He was gonna have a massive game.
I'm gonna be like totally transparent and vulnerable with everybody right now. I'm gonna be really sad, man, if Xavier's gone.
I don't feel good about it, man.
I don't either. I was so looking forward
his body language
to this second year of Xavier Worthy, man, because I felt like, man, because I'm with you, dude. Like you and I didn't really talk a lot about it, but I think we were definitely in lockstep on this one. That I think he was going to get 12 to 14 targets last night, and he was going to have 130, 140 yards. I'm not kidding. Like, I thought Xavier was going to have a baller game, and you saw it early on that they wanted to get him. I think that play with Kels was a rub play to get Xavier open. And they just were too close, and he blew them up, man.
Bro, Hollywood was burning a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Hollywood was burning a lot of these guys.
Xavier would have had a baller
and Tyquan Thornton dusted homeboy down the sideline. Yeah. Xavier was going to eat, bro. Like, that's such a... I want to get hung up on that, but it's hard. I think that's the biggest story coming out of this game. Even though we lost, I think being down yet again, another star receiver for this offense that had high hopes... You know, it's just a bummer.
Well, what's the thought on this? What's the thought on this? And I want to get everyone's thoughts on this that's watching right now or listening, because John just kind of brought it up. Our guy John Harrison. What about Mecole Hardman, man? What if they bring him back? If Juju's gone, or I'm sorry, if Xavier's gone, what if they bring him back? He's free agent right now, dude.
I'm calling the Dolphins, brother. I'm calling the Dolphins by Tyreek, straight up. makes the most sense.
You know I'm on board.
He is maybe the most likely candidate to get traded.
It's going to be a cap. It's a cap thing.
If the Dolphins struggle and they start having injuries, say Tua gets hurt again,
it might be too early for it. But yeah, I agree.
I'm saying in a few weeks, Tyreek might be a realistic thing.
Yeah,
and that would be my call because I've been wanting him back for a while. Yeah. I miss Tyreek, bro, but. Especially if Xavier's done for the year.
Yeah, you make the call. Do the Dolphins do it? That's the question.
I mean, it's already been rough, bad vibes. He didn't even make captain this year. Right. Tyreek's not even a captain for the Dolphins this year. There's been bad vibes. I still am a believer in Tyreek. I still think he's got a lot of juice.
Yeah.
Last year was a weird year for him. He was going through a lot of personal stuff. Still is this season, but he was hurt. Also hurt his shoulder and wrist with that police injury thing. That was a weird situation. A whole lot of bad vibes last year too. I'm calling the Dolphins, dude. If Xavier's out this year, I think the Chiefs have to. And the Chiefs, we've given second chances to the guy. Bringing Kareem Hunt back off the couch. Tyreek makes all the sense to me, in my personal opinion. I know a lot of bad blood people here.
It's got to be about money, though. Like, because can the Chiefs fit his remaining contract under their cap?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Because what's probably
you bundle maybe Tyquan Thornton and something with it.
But this is the thing, though, dude. If you bring in Tyreek, you probably have to pay him an extension. Do the Chiefs do that?
Maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because if they're going to fit it under the cap, they might have to soften his current number, and that would probably involve an extension. So those are the things I'm just looking at. I know where you're going at, because obviously bringing him back.
If I'm bringing in a player, I'm dude, this is, we're a championship athlete.
Oh, I guess
McColl doesn't move the needle for me.
So John's right. Hardman is on the Packers practice squad, but they still could obviously get him off that practice squad. Yeah.
And that'd be an easy thing. But I think, dude, I don't know. I think he chose to stay on the practice squad. He could have just floated out in the ether and maybe tried to come back to the Chiefs. I'm sure they've had conversations behind the scenes. I would imagine that guy's always kind of like.
I'm sure the Chiefs know what's going on with Xavier right now, and they're probably planning of what they're going to do, because this room without Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice it's not going to cut it. So I'm not saying McColl's going to be a difference maker, but they got to have people in here that know the offense, that can play a role, and McColl can play somewhat of a role.
They can figure out the numbers. I just think Tyreek makes all of the sense, in my personal opinion, bro. Especially if the Dolphins, and I mean the Dolphins have the highest odds of trading Tyreek. The number one, in Vegas, the odds of a player getting traded is Tyreek Hill, and the number one coach getting fired mid-season or before the season is over is Mike McDaniel.
And that's why I have a hard time believing that Tyreek's going to be back in Kansas City, because I think there's going to be other teams out there that are going to
Broncos would be
they're going to be willing to they're going to be willing to put out more in a trade than I think the Chiefs would. And they probably have better cap structures, so they'd be able to fit him while also willing to pay him an extension and trade more for him.
Yeah, he does have hella child support. hella child support.
Yeah, that's also a thing. That's, so you're not lying about that
extension with that bag to pay for them kids. All right, Micah Hayes. Sup, guys? I'm tired of arguing about it. We have to sign a defensive tackle, Christian Wilkins. I don't care about the zesty shit.
I knew Christian was going to be brought back up on the show, man. Look, dude, even with the issues the Chiefs are having, I don't envision it, man. There's a reason why you're not hearing anything about him going anywhere.
Yeah, it is weird.
That tells me that these teams have been informed of the shit this guy's probably been doing. And everyone's like, yeah, I'm not touching that. I know that talent most times.
He's touching it, though.
Oh, he's definitely he's touching all of it, but I'm saying, though, that teams don't want to touch the toucher. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason. You know what I mean? I think that's what's happening. So he's a hell of a player, no doubt. I love the talent, and I would love to have that talent on this team. But unfortunately, with that talent comes the person. And I just envision that Chris Jones puts him through a locker in like week 7. So I just don't think that they want to put that into the atmosphere, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you on that, unfortunately. Micah Hayes, does this remind you of 2021 when we started 2-4 and finished 12-4?
Yeah, right now I would say yes. Yeah, it's early still, but yes, the similar, can't get out of your way, making a lot of mental mistakes, feeling kind of overwhelmed by your opponent.
It's a little different though, because we're dealing with a massive injury right out the gate. And we're already down our number one receiver out the gate because of suspension. Now we got a massive injury to our second most important player in the offense. Yeah, that's a little bit different because we have different things to overcome. 2021 was just like we just couldn't get out of our own way type of deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
a lot of mental errors, turnovers, bad decisions.
A lot of turnovers, bro. Yeah, uncharacteristic picks from Pat.
Right.
This is different. I think just now it looks like Pat's just gonna have to overcome and play hero ball, and every week it feels like. Hopefully not. Hopefully we figure things out and we get some schematical changes on the defense, especially. Because this roster is still great. The leadership of this team is the same leadership that just went to 3 straight Super Bowls. Like I said, I'm not doubting the leadership of this team. I'm not doubting the winning mentality that this team brings week in, week out, and has proven to overcome. We had the best record in football last year, dude.
Yeah.
And we were overcoming things, and we were winning these close, tough games against tough opponents, and we went to the Super Bowl. Got our asses kicked, but we went to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And that matters. The leadership of this team matters. Chris Jones is going to be better. He's going to learn from that mistake. Drew Tranquill can build on that performance. A lot of these guys, I trust them to be them, and what they've been is the best in the league in this AFC division. So, yeah, it is similar. It could be a similar record-wise this season to 2021. You know what I mean? It could be similar to that. We could drop some games that we didn't, expect. Obviously, coming out the gate, I didn't expect us to lose to the Chargers. I thought we were going to win this game, but things change. There's injuries that happen. There's things that just are. This is such a parity-driven game. You know what I mean? Things happen that can just alter a season, alter a roster, alter anything, alter the path of a team that was destined to be great again. Say we lose 4, 5, 6 games this year. Make the playoffs. You doubting the Chiefs? I'm not. It doesn't matter, man. Seeding and stuff like that. We've seen this team go on the road and go all the way to the Super Bowl after the grueling AFC when Josh Allen was due, when Lamar was due, and MVP Lamar, MVP Josh Allen. It's never really mattered.
Yeah.
So I mean, could this be a rough season record wise? Possibly. Especially if our roster isn't as great as we like it to be, and it's already off to a tough start. But say come week 7, 8, 9, 10, and Rasheed's back, and he's absolutely just doing what he's always done. We can flip the switch and change things pretty quickly come that second half of the season. So I'm not ready to panic. I'm not hitting the panic button at all right now, but there is some worries. So like I said, especially going to this next game against the defending champs, man, a team that is going to bring the fight to you. We're coming off, as Colin Cowherd would say, an overseas game, a long traveled game. Chiefs got to get it together, man. I'm not ready to hit that panic button yet, though. Our guy Dustin Orton, speak it. Don't think Carter faces suspension. It would be considered assault by the law.
Well, no, is that a question about the first one?
Are you talking about Carter from the Eagles? Or are you
Jalen
talking
Carter.
That's not assault. I feel like you may be talking about Dart.
Well, I actually do think it is. I actually do think it is assault to spit on someone.
someone?
Yeah, I
Really?
actually do think so. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody have a legal background or anything? I'm pretty sure that is a.
Yeah.
Because imagine going to somebody imagine a cop standing right here and I spit on you. I'm pretty sure I'm getting arrested. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I'm going to get arrested.
That's
for that.
true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but the severity difference. We're not even having that conversation. But yeah, I know the question has been asked a lot. Is Jalen Carter going to get suspended? I'm leaning towards no at this time because I think the NFL, even Tom Pelissero said it himself that, it was before the game really actually took off, so they view that as a suspension. I actually disagree with that because to me, the actions you do during a game, regardless of what time that game is, if it's something that's suspension worthy, you should be suspended. That's just the way I see it. Because my thing is, okay, so if there was 4 minutes left in the game and he did that, does he then get suspended? Okay, so then we're basing it on the timeline of the game of when you do it. Okay, so what if it happened at halftime? Does he still get suspended? Or is that, he missed half a game, so maybe he can play the second half of the Chiefs game. It starts to get there's too many semantics with all that. So I think that you either suspend a guy or you don't for what he does in a game or not. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. So is that suspension worthy? Yep. Okay, then he probably should get suspended. I don't give a fuck when it happened during the game.
Yeah.
He did something fucking stupid that was suspension worthy. I don't know. I look at things in very simple terms.
Yeah, and hopefully that answers your question also, Ruben, because Ruben had the same question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ruben, but yeah.
No, you're good. That's the same. It's basically the same question, just, but yeah, I don't understand. I mean, if Carter gets suspended, it is what it is. I don't think he will. I just don't understand the ejection thing. He got ejected, and that was fair. But then Dart, again, to reiterate the point from earlier talking about with Kelsey, how does he not get ejected? That's just Spitting will get you ejected, but absolutely just uppercutting someone to the face after a play is dead, like, bro. And then Kelsey didn't even do anything. All he did, give him a little like shove, like right as the play was ending, and then he just
hauls off.
How is that not ejection worthy? That's wild to me. So where are we at? Like, I guess it just varies on the referee crew, because that's wild, bro.
Yep.
But yeah, let one of the Chiefs players do that and stay in the game, and then hear all the Twitter narratives how the refs are on our side.
Right.
Imagine if the coin was flipped. Just saying. You want to talk about ref shit?
Micah Hayes did say, yes, spitting on someone is an assault charge. They can also add bodily fluids.
Yeah.
In GM. I don't know what that means, but yeah, basically yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, don't spit on folks. I gotta stop doing that.
Damn it! I was gonna do that today too. That was on my agenda.
Serial spitter.
I was like, go buy some burgers, get my tire replaced, spit on someone.
Just hot tune everybody.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to this comment from John real quick too. He says, to answer the Hill question, his base salary this year is $10 million. Next year, 29.9. A trade, you'd have to reconstruct it to next year.
Yep. That's what I
mean, you could kick the can.
I feel like me and John have had this talk before about this.
But I'm saying, like, if the Chiefs traded for Tyreek, I don't think they would have to extend him. I don't think they would have to, dude. I think they might be able to just get him to play out this year, and he would probably get an extension from somebody else, especially if it's like a midseason trade.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, is that you have him under contract, though, once you trade for him. So that 29.9 that John's talking about is now on the Chiefs' books next year.
Play for free, just pro bono, just for the vibes, bro. Get it right.
Vibes.
Fix your karma with the Chiefs. You fucked up, you did. Find a good, wholesome wife over here in Kansas City, man. Just, you know what I mean? Just come chill out. Stop. Micah Hayes. How much do you credit the Chargers OC for coming out passing versus running like everyone else said they would? Or should Spags have been ready for both, like double team Ladd or McDuffie travel with him?
Well, I think there's a little bit of everything in that. I think all that plays a part.
In hindsight, yeah.
You have to give Greg Roman his credit, because Greg Roman is more of a run-first guy. That's what everyone was expecting the Chargers to do, myself included. But Justin Herbert threw the ball 34 times and threw it at a high level all night long because it was space everywhere. And it all starts with the pass rush. I think Spags dialed up some good blitzes last night. We saw that one was with Tranquil.
Yeah, that disguise blitz.
An incredible disguise blitz. But your defense cannot be predicated on disguise blitzes. That's something that would be considered the icing on the cake. You can't have that be your strength. That has to be one of your strengths.
Yeah.
That has to be something you do, not all that you do. And that is the problem that I saw from the Chiefs defense last night, is unless they were manufacturing stunt blitzes, disguise blitzes, delayed blitzes, they weren't getting shit on Justin Herbert.
I do think the biggest thing that threw the defense off was Herbert running a little bit more. I don't think they expected that, because that's something Herbert doesn't do too much of. He can when he needs to, but he was evading the pocket and running a lot more than we expected. Obviously, he iced the game that way on top of it, which was embarrassing as fuck. But I think I do think that we expected the Chargers to have a run-heavy game plan, especially with them bringing, activating Najee, drafting Amari and Hampton. That's still a good run-blocking offensive line. I think we did truly expect them. But there's no excuse still, man. Like, you saw what they were doing in the entire first half. They were darting us, and they just continued to do the same thing in the second half.
Yep.
And we didn't adjust. That's on Spags. And,
yep.
And I'm not bearing any of these guys. Chris Jones had a blunder. Spags blundered this whole game plan away. But Spags is still the greatest defensive coordinator of all time, in my opinion. So, and Chris Jones is a Hall of Fame defensive tackle. These guys are going to get it right. And, we came out the gate, and we looked not so good. Strategically on defense, and you just have to take your L like a man, be better the next time. And it is what it is, man. In hindsight, we could talk about all things that we shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. It is what it is, man. Go watch that tape and be better next week.
Yep, and
it is what it is.
We have an update from John, our capologist here, the unofficial but official capologist for the Spoken Podcast. John Harrison said, by trading, he's talking about Tyreek Hill still, you inherit the per game bonus of $1 mil per making cap hit of 27, a 51 next year, plus future void years.
Yeah.
Trading you absorbed the whole contract. That's the issue. So, in other words, it's not going to happen unless the Chiefs were to finagle a new contract with Tyreek. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's more of you go and get a guy you've known for a long time that's a middle tier type player like 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙺𝙾 from the practice squad, and you just wait it out until Rashid gets back, and you hope that Patrick or Travis don't have a wild hair in their ass to go and hurt him too. So,
like I said too, I do think Nico needs to get some more work in the offense.
I agree. I definitely agree.
I think he has more upside than a lot of these.
I agree.
I just what he can do with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get that guy in space. I know he's small, but those dude. Me and you, we love Nico on this show, man.
Yeah.
So I think with Xavier Worthy being a question mark right now, with his availability and how long it's going to be, I think Nico has to. If you want to talk about bringing McCall, I'd rather just upgrade Nico to more offensive snaps. My personal opinion.
You still need bodies, though. You still need bodies, though.
I get it. I know the trust with McCall matters a lot, and I love McCall too. He's been nothing but a winner when he's been here. He's had some of the biggest plays in this Chiefs dynastic run.
Yeah.
But I like the juice of Nico. Let's see. Micah Hayes. Yo, Trev. Derwin James locked Kelsey down. Kelsey can't beat him in coverage no more. Tough matchup. Yeah, I mean, Kelsey had a tough night, man. Outside of that beautifully designed play that he scored on, Kelsey should have scored another one, man. You know what I mean? He should have scored 2 touchdowns. He absolutely dropped a walk-in touchdown. That's something, and I expect Travis Kelsey to be better, but I don't look. I mean, we got to be honest, man. The dude's getting older. I know he's in the best shape of his life, whatever, the wedding shape stuff, narrative, whatever. And he looked good running down the field on that play that he scored on. He looked pretty spry. But as far as like him getting separation and an elite clip like he used to, it's just not what it is. And Derwin James is still one of the best safeties in this game. And those guys have massive history. I don't think anybody knows Travis Kelsey better than Derwin James.
Right.
And if we're being honest, I mean, yeah, Travis Kelsey has spent the majority of his career getting the better of Derwin James. But Derwin James has also had massive plays against Travis Kelsey too. That slam tackle, it was an all-time play by Derwin James where he absolutely just power bombed Travis Kelsey. These guys have history. These guys have beefs. These guys know each other really well. And some weeks, one of them is going to get the better of each other. And yeah, I mean, Derwin James had a hell of a game and locked Kelsey down with him the majority of the night.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's for sure. Respect is due there. James T. Kirk. Kelsey jumped on on Taylor's ass, didn't he? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and he deserved to.
It was due. Like I said, man, just stop, bro. Like, stop trying to be quick with it. We can't. I think he's going to have to get benched if this continues. And I don't think it's fair to him, but fuck fair. This is not
be better.
This game's not fair,
be better, bro.
This game is not fair. There's shit that gets missed.
If you know they're going to call it.
Yeah.
Then you got to do better.
You got to stop. You got to adjust.
Yes.
He's too good of an athlete to not, like, okay, have that moment, bro, with yourself. Go look in the mirror for a minute.
Yeah.
Talk to yourself, really. Figure it out. Stop.
And in most situations, it's crazy talk to think that you would bench a guy that's making $27 million.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
But here's the thing.
The last resort.
But here's the thing. They do have another guy on this offense,
right,
that's making a lot of money too, that he could be replaced by, and that's Jalen Moore.
Yeah.
So this is a very unique. Remember I was talking about before the season about how because Josh Simmons just dominated at left tackle and took that job, it created this very, how do I say it? It created a situation for the Chiefs where they have a real option now at right tackle, where, hey, Juwan's not getting his head out of his ass. We're not going to put Jalen Moore there because he's also making money. So one way or another, you have an expensive backup. I don't think the Chiefs want to move off Juwan because they believe he's their best option at right tackle, as do I. But if he can't get out of his own way and remove his cranium from his rectum, then what you need to do is go get a guy in there that can, or just doesn't have his cranium in his rectum to begin with. I don't know. Wild thoughts here. But I think that Juwan's going to get better as the season gets on because he's too good of a player, a veteran, who was fantastic last season. Let's be real. The last 2 years with the Chiefs, he's been awesome. He's made some bonehead penalties, things of that nature. Yeah. But when it comes to protection, he's awesome. Skim these down, and we're not talking about you anymore. The best place to be as an offensive lineman is when no one's talking about you. The last thing we've talked about, the least thing we've talked about on this show today is Josh Simmons, Kingsley, Creed, Trey. Why? Because they all did their fucking job last night.
Oh yeah, the name's not getting.
Who's the one we're talking about the most?
The goal is not to get your
Juwan.
name mentioned, bro. Yeah. If they're talking about the O-line, it's usually bad. It's most of the time it's bad.
Yep.
If you're getting penalties, especially one guy getting 4. God damn it. James T. Kirk. Earlier, I spoke on 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙳𝙴. Will he survive the season? The guy was a complete no-show.
Yeah,
He made one play that was pretty.
Justin Herbert kind of fell into
That's
him.
true.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give Amenahu a lot of credit for last night. This is a dude. Look, I am somebody who loves athletes that talk that shit, that walk that shit. That's why Muhammad Ali will forever be one of my favorite athletes of all time. I never saw him fight, but he's still one of my favorite athletes ever because that dude talked so much shit and would go out there and drop your ass. I love that shit. That is alpha shit. It's so much fun to watch, seeing somebody go out there and say something and do it. I love that. Like, I love when the video of Cam Newton talking to Clay Matthews, and he's like, oh, you watch film, huh? Watch this, and they score a touchdown. That is awesome. That is so cool. That's movie stuff. But that's not what's happened in this situation. You know what I mean? Like, we're not seeing that. We didn't see that happen in this situation where 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙳𝙺 is out here talking that shit and goes out there and played about as good as you and I did last night, Trevor. So, and look, it's tough to be an athlete. It's tough being a professional athlete. It's tough going out there and making big plays against other guys that are paid millions of dollars to do your same job. But I don't want to hear you talk and then do that shit. Just like I don't want to hear Isaiah Pacheco say it's his revenge tour, and when Josh Simmons has the entire left side of the field open for you and he's running, waiting to block for you, and you run right into a fucking defender. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you talk about no fucking revenge tour.
He went from 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙳𝙺 to a 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙳𝙺. Who?
Ooh, nice. Like, there's a video right now from John Analytics, I guess that's how you put it. John Analytics.
English, it's hard.
I know it's He has the video right now, and I'm gonna put it. I put it on my Twitter right now. Go to at Lance Has Spoken. You'll see I just tweeted it. It's inexcusable what Isaiah Pacheco did in this video. Inexcusable. Josh Simmons throws his first guy down and then runs upfield and has the whole left side wide open for Pacheco. And Pacheco runs to the right. It is inexcusable. Don't tell me no fucking revenge tour. 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙳𝙺, quit tweeting at me. Go out there and play football.
Yeah. Playing like a seventh rounder. Ruben De Cruz, what's with Royals' knee?
You know, they haven't
been quiet.
Yeah, they really haven't said much about it.
I heard it was tendonitis.
Yeah,
it sucks, but you can.
He played through that.
Yeah.
He played through. I'm expecting Rolls to be back next week.
Yeah.
I think he'll play next week.
I think he could have, if needed, absolutely needed to play. I think he could have played this week, in my personal opinion.
Yeah,
because I have tendonitis in both my knees, unfortunately, and it sucks. But some days are worse than others. Like if it flares up or whatever, if you've been really active, at post game it's probably gonna hurt. But during the game when you're loose, you don't feel it too much. Right. It's mostly after the game, having to recover. Your knees are just hurting. But I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be absolutely needed and relied upon in an unfortunate, flattering way. It just is what it is. He's going to have to be a guy that's going to have to come in and possibly play that Rasheed role or be an effective offensive player. But I do think he's okay. I think they're kind of saving him from himself right now because I think he would play if he could. But it's just, last we heard it was just tendonitis, which is not a scary thing. If it was like a calf issue or something like that, that's far more worrisome in my opinion. But I think he'll be available, like you said, next week. James T. Kirk, can you see the Chiefs beating Philadelphia next season as is?
Next week? Yes, I do. And Trevor and I are gonna give you guys our predictions next week in next week's show because obviously it'll be before their week 2 matchup.
And as doom and gloom as we are right now from losing to the Chargers in week 1 in the Brazil game, how much will the switch be flipped if we beat Philly?
Right, and that's something.
The whole narrative's going to change.
Yeah,
don't be a slave to the moment right now, guys.
All I'll say is that if you guys watch that Eagles-Cowboys game, there were several times where the Eagles tried to just literally give the Cowboys that game. A.J. Brown was a total non-factor. I'm not expecting that to happen again, for the record. But you saw multiple times, maybe that's because it was a divisional matchup as well, and their first game of the season. This was what I was worried about with the Eagles coming into the season about losing their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. Is what is going to be the motive? Like, what is going to be their driving? What's their identity in offense? Yes, you run the ball a lot, But when that isn't hitting, are they going to be able to do enough in the pass game? And like I said, when you saw that Jalen Hurts couldn't get to his first read, he wouldn't make a throw. Now, he did save their ass a lot like Patrick did last night, where he was running around, he was doing things, he was creating with his feet. That all can continue. But if there's a defense out there that's good enough at stopping that stuff, or desperate enough to stop that stuff, it's going to be interesting to see how that offense plays down the stretch. So I'm going to be paying a close attention to that.
Our guy Antonio Marquez in the chat.
All right,
shout out crew.
Hell yeah, man! Great band.
Worried about the D. Run D was okay. Pass D couldn't get pressure, and as a result, made the pass D look terrible. Or is the pass D just really not there? Also, did Fulton not play? I couldn't tell.
Well, this is one of those chicken and egg conversations. I'm always of the belief that if your secondary doesn't look great, it's because the other quarterback has a lot of time in the pocket. It's one thing to get beat in pass protection. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But what I saw last night was the Chiefs could not get adequate and consistent pressure on Justin Herbert. Therefore, Justin was comfortable in the pocket and was able to look at his second, third, and sometimes his fourth read.
Yeah, man.
And was able just to pick that secondary. Because you got to think, guys, the best of the best in the secondary are able to stick with a receiver for 2 to 3 seconds. There were times where Justin Herbert was sitting in the pocket for 5+ seconds.
And
what are you expecting?
Because George Karlaftis looked great. He just couldn't finish plays. That was frustrating. George would beat the guy in the edge.
That's so on brand, though.
Fall down.
That's so on brand.
You got to keep
George.
You got to stay on your feet and keep going, because George could have had several sacks in this game, in my opinion. He kept beating that dude on the edge, but he would get around him and he'd fall. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I understand, man. Here I am, some dude sitting in my basement, talking about George be better, and he's out there consistently beating dudes on the edge. It's just not finishing play. I'm in no position to really tell you what to do or be better, but you're the pro athlete, and I've seen you be great. I just need George to finish those plays, bro. Yep. That would have changed a lot of the honestly, the rhythm of that Chargers offense. He was able to just, George is paid to finish those kind of plays, and he simply just wasn't executing right. Derek Nottie didn't look like much, in my opinion. Yeah, man, the pressure's got to be there, because you give Herbert, no matter who he's playing, you give Herbert that kind of time to make throws downfield with that. Say what you want about that receiver core. Those guys are good at, especially McConkey and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's one of the best separators of his generation.
Yeah.
He's never been an elite athlete, but that dude separates with the best of them. And he was just getting so much space, especially on that touchdown score. My goodness, he's all alone. You know what I mean? So schematically, and you got good separators in McConkey and Keenan Allen, and you got a big body receiver like Quentin Johnson. You're going to eat you up if you give him time to make those throws downfield, man. Especially we're just leaving the middle of the field wide open for him. So, yeah, unacceptable, bro. I'm right there with you, man. The D line looked just we got to finish plays and actually get hands on quarterbacks. That changes everything. That's going to make the DBs that much more comfortable in order to make plays downfield as well.
Yep.
Get Herbert, get any quarterback we're playing off his rhythm, off his his feet to make those proper throws and put his whole body into those throws. Herbert was chilling. Let's see, we got another question from our guy here. Shaggy Shane. Chasing the much needed left tackle position last 4 years has kept KC from drafting a DT in the last few drafts. Jason Dunn was on our show 17 months ago, pulling for KC to draft Brandon Fisk.
Yep. I remember that exact conversation because I agreed with Jason vehemently on that. And that is factual by Shaggy. Shaggy talked about this. We've talked about this in many previous conversations on air and off air. And by the way, I hope you guys know that Shaggy and I on Tuesday nights are going to be doing 65 Toss Power talk show this every week on Tuesday nights. Really excited about it. Going to have some awesome guests. And I hope you guys will join with us here. It'll be on the same StreamYard and everything, so you guys will know where to find it. It'll be on our YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys will hang out with us, man, because we're going to have a very similar conversation Trevor and I are having right here. But no, that's 100% it. And that's kind of how it always goes, though, for teams, is that when you have a list of needs and you're more of a franchise that likes to answer your needs through the draft as opposed to free agency and trades, that's how it's going to kind of go. And here's the difficult thing, and this is why I always defend Brett Veach, is every single year as the Chiefs GM, he's drafting at the end of the first round.
And I think the left tackle was the more important.
Clearly, but
I mean, that's why they're chasing that position. I mean, when you're a team that has a so-so quarterback, you want to lean on the defense a little bit more to overcome.
And this is
the
why
lack of efficiency in the offense with the lesser quarterback. When you got Patrick Mahomes, you got to protect him.
100%, and that's why. But this is also the biggest reason why, guys. I told you 2 years ago.
You got 22 though.
There was no question in my mind that the Chiefs had to pay Chris Jones, because what has always been
because of the lack of
and what has Veach always been able to build his defenses around? Chris Jones. And he was at his prime. He played his best football. You have to pay him, because what you then would create is we already have a need at left tackle, and now we have to replace an all-pro defensive tackle too. Like, that's too many issues. And I told you guys, if the Chiefs didn't sign Chris Jones, they're not back in the Super Bowl last year. That's just not. It's a reality.
Yeah.
If they would have traded Chris Jones the year before, they're not in the Super Bowl 2023. They're not in the Super Bowl 2024, because Chris Jones is one of the 3 most important pieces to this puzzle. And so, they're gonna have to start figuring that out, because Chris is only gonna get older, and they need to figure out how to replace him, or at least build around him next to him. That's why I hope Norman Lott can pan out. That's why I hope guys like edge rushers like Gelati and Karlaftis continue to elevate their games, because you're gonna need that as the season progresses. It cannot all be on Chris Jones anymore, man.
Yeah. Well, hoping to get Norman Lott back in the mix, man. I think that guy could be a difference maker for sure.
Yeah.
Just adding that aggressiveness to this defensive line.
Yeah, and just Ruben asked the question, what time will our shows will be going on Tuesday? It'll be at 6 p.m. Do not miss it. But like I said, guys, it'll be on the podcast side. It'll also be on YouTube when you can watch it later on. But we'd love it if you guys joined our live chat as well, like we do here. It's gonna be the same vibes. The only difference is we'll have the Oracle Shaggy on the show that's gonna delve deep from the 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s and give us reasons to consider the past for the present and future as things progress. So he's a great guy, and he's already in the chat right here. We can put that on there if it's okay, Trevor. Join Lance and I this Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central on the same spoken streams with former Chiefs defensive end Leonard Griffin. Yes, Leonard will be on the show. We got a lot of former Chiefs that'll be joining us this season, as well as our guy that's aforementioned, Mr. JD, Jason Dunn, one of my best friends, one of the best dudes out there. Great conversation. I might even on that show, whenever JD joins us, I might just literally turn my mic off and just listen to Shaggy and JD talk, because I feel so unqualified for that conversation. Like, those are OGs right there, man. I'm gonna listen. And, yeah.
You guys know what you're talking about.
I'll just be a spectator. Yeah, I'll just spectate on that show. I'll just be, I'll just hang back and watch, man. But
you're just there to rage bait.
Basically, like, I can say
rage bait Twitter, bro.
I'm not doing it. I love everybody. I'm not saying anything right now, but yeah, this is gonna be a fun time. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there before the show ended today. But yeah. So
guy,
go ahead. Yeah,
has another
hell yeah
insight here as well. Also I also get that Xavier getting hurt could have affect the offense play calling, but why would one person getting hurt really impact the slow start? Picking up where they left off last year, slow starts.
Bang.
Facts, dude.
Could not have said it better, Antonio, and I really appreciate when you contribute on the show, brother.
Also, I do think, I think we all should grant the fact that it is a massive issue losing him on the first drive, but also you spend an entire offseason preparing for things, man. And you know things can possibly go wrong. You know you're going to have other guys involved in other game plans, backup plans if things happen. If Travis Kelce goes down or one of these guys goes down, it was just, I think the first half was the biggest issue, man. Like it felt like we were shell shocked from him going down, and we couldn't string together a single drive in that first half, and having to rely on Bucker to go out there and hit a kick without even really getting to wind up or do anything. Luckily, you hit that, or that would have been even more of an atrocity of a first half. But yeah, man, you got to be able to recover, and we got a whole, week to prepare and figure out what's going on with Xavier and how long he's even going to be out to prepare for that. So a lot of things, man. This is about as tough a start I think as we could have, fathomed. I don't think any of us had this in our bingo cards, unfortunately, but it is what it is. May H. Do you guys have a bad feeling about this season, especially considering how confident the team was going into the season?
I don't have a bad
I'm not
feeling
there
about
yet,
the
bro. It's 1
season.
week. Like,
I don't have a bad feeling about the season, but I have a bad feeling right now about right now.
that sucks, bro.
We all know that this football is a very the reason why I think this sport is so contagious and why you're seeing it become an international sport and people across this world are starting to pay attention is because it's a week by week sport. It's not a daily sport. That's different. Like baseball, you don't even really react to the moment. You kind of react to the longevity of things because it's every single day.
Yeah.
When it comes to football, you get to react to it moment by moment because it's literally spaced out week by week. And so right now it sucks ass. But like Trevor said just like 10 minutes ago, if the Chiefs beat the Eagles next week, we're sitting here next week.
Super Bowl bound.
We're like talking about how we're back.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how it goes. It's a very reactionary, emotionally driven type of sport, and that's why it bodes so well here in America. Is that's kind of how we are, man. Like it's a moment by moment type of thing. That's why it's blown up so much. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Is I don't feel good right now, and it fucking sucks. Yeah. It was an embarrassing loss, even if it was only by 6 points. Like to see the team come out after 7 months of just waiting to fucking get out there and show the world that they lost the Super Bowl. We're not that team anymore, and then they do that. It's like, well, shit. You know what I mean? You feel kind of gypped. You know what I mean? So right now, I'm angry. I'm pissed off. Yeah. And next week, if the Chiefs beat the Eagles, I'm going to feel the opposite. I'm like, hell yeah. 1-1, back on the shit. Yeah. Let's go out there and beat the Ravens. You know what I mean? Or the Giants. Yeah. That's how I feel about it.
We got Julia Gulia back in the chat.
Hell yeah. Jules, what's up?
She says, got here late because I've been drinking all day. Let's fucking go.
Love you, Jules. Glad you're here.
Yeah.
Missed you.
Yeah, glad to have you back in the chat. Better late than never.
No shit.
But that is all the questions, bro.
All right, man. I really, like I said, I really appreciate you guys making us feel better today because we needed to have a family discussion. We needed to get some of this shit out, man. That's why I wanted to.
On the talking pillow for
no shit, man. Yeah, not even just because my voice is an absolute wreck today, but mostly because of the fact that I want to hear you guys, man, because, you know, what's going to happen is if the Chiefs get back on track, we're going to look back at these conversations be like, hey, man, remember in week 1 when we were all sitting here, like, pissed off, and look where we're at now, man. Look where things are at now. We feel better about it as a community. It isn't just Trev and I saying what we feel and kind of leaving you guys in the background. We all voiced, vented. We all got to, you know, talk about our displeasure about this. We all got to, you know, talk about it. I think it just makes for a better show, and it makes for a much better. It's like therapy, man. You know, when I woke up this morning, I was like, I don't want to talk football right now, but you know what? I'm gonna be sitting here all week, bitching and moaning about the stuff that I just got to be able to talk about today. So now that I got to do this, I don't got to do that throughout the week. I got it out. Trevor got it out. You guys got it out. It makes for a better life, in my opinion, man, when you get to talk about this stuff with people that, you know, share a common bond and interest and, you know, want to talk about these things too, man. And so I always have fun with you guys, man, and I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us today, man. It means a lot. So, Trevor, we have one more order of business to get to. What is it called? Hold this L. Each and every episode, we finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly L's or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you, who's ever hold those L's in the world of sports deserve those L's in the world of sports. Trevor, who's holding the L for you this week?
Listen, man, I haven't been able to shake it since the game ended last night, and I'm going to keep this needle in the same vein that it's been in all show so far. I'm giving my L to Chris Jones. He knows better. He knows better. That you can't. It was a selfish thing for what he did last night. And I know, Spags, you trust your players to go make great plays. Your great players to go make great plays. Not in that situation. We needed one stop. It was a third and extremely long. Get the ball back to chance to win the game. Yeah. Get the ball back to the greatest quarterback of all time to do said game-winning drives. And you took it upon yourself to be selfish to try to go inside instead of setting the edge. If you set the edge, we get that ball back. You can't have that, especially from the leadership perspective of this defense. He failed his team last night.
Yep.
And then he doubled down on it. Didn't double down on it, but basically avoided the responsibility of saying no comment when asked about it in the post-game pressers. I don't like that, man. Chris Jones is better than that. Chris Jones, I know he's probably already regretting not only the play, but I get it. You probably don't want to talk about it because you failed straight up because the game was winnable. We had a chance to go in there. It was a 6-point game. If we had time on the clock to go in that game. And Chris Jones decided to try to make a play and thinking he can beat the guy and get possibly a sack rather than just setting the edge and keeping and forcing Herbert to run back in, and then a sack was probably inevitable, or he throws the ball away.
Right.
We could be talking about a whole different game if Chris Jones just sets the edge because Patrick Mahomes has the ball back. I know we had no timeouts, but come on now.
Yep.
We know it can happen.
Yep.
I don't care what defense is we're going against. It was unacceptable, man. It was against his character, and honestly, I commend Drew Tranquill for chewing his ass out right in the moment. That's what a leader should do. And Drew Tranquill's another one of those leaders on this defense, and he was right.
Yep.
I'm trying to win, and we're losing. That's what he was telling them. I'm trying to win, bro. Stop trying to stop trying to have your moment of the game.
Right.
Because that's what Chris Jones tried to do. He tried to go get that sack. Set the fucking edge and let your defense finish the rest. Force the quarterback to go back inside. Because you're not going to try to test Chris Jones on the edge.
Right.
He would never have done that. He would have forced me to either throw it away or run back and take a sack or whatever. It ruined the game, man. I know the game, there's a lot of people, there's so much that goes into a game as far as like what contributes to a win and a loss. We had a moment there. There was a chance. And Chris Jones decided to be selfish in that moment, man. And I hated that. I hate seeing that because most of the time he does the right thing. He did the wrong thing last night. And then when asked upon it in the post-game presser, he sighs and says, no comment. Take some accountability, bro. You're one of the greatest to ever do it. You're a multiple-time champ. Please act like it. Take accountability. Be better next time. That was unacceptable. We had a chance to still win that game, and he took that chance from us single-handedly. So for that, Chris Jones, do me a favor and
hold this cell. I actually have a couple. My first one is a video of, it's pretty just flat out despicable. We can just go ahead and play the video. If you guys haven't seen this yet, this happened at the Phillies and Marlins game last night as a home run was hit in the stands. Go ahead and play the video, Trev.
The ball hit the fan. Oh, the Phillies fan came in and he stole it from another Phillies fan. Oh, she can't believe it. Whoa.
Oh, easy.
Oh, yeah. Yup. We have a little infighting here.
You know, he did give it to who I would assume is his son, maybe.
Okay.
Did give it to the youngster.
This lady's got to get it under control. Look at the girl in the background in the left-hand side of the screen. She's laughing.
All right.
Ugh. What is going on?
Hey guys, well I'm out here in the outfield and you hear all those cheers? That's all the fans are very excited because the Marlins, what we caught on our, television screens, on our cameras, guys, was a kid his home run ball being taken away from him. So the Marlins wanted to make sure that he had a little prize pack and some baseballs to make up for the incident that we caught a little bit earlier on our game. So you see the young man's very excited. He's got a baseball there for both himself and his sister, as well as a goodie bag full of other goodies here, guys. So again, really good to see, and you see the fans all around here in the outfield. They're cheering. They're very excited that this young man has been given a baseball.
There you go.
So,
see
very
that?
cool by the Marlins.
Listen,
very, very nice gesture.
This is good stuff. Good things happen to good people.
I mean, great job.
A tip of the cap to them. That is fabulous. Oh, look at that. That's great. See, even Phillies fans we can all get along with, huh?
Plain and simple, I'm just gonna say it. You fuck with a kid, you take something from a kid, you are a piece of shit. And that chick sucks. That bitch sucks. That Karen,
absolute Karen,
sucks. I mean, dude, I'm not even gonna go into like ad hominem attacks, which are so easy, and I could go at it for like 10 minutes. I'm just gonna talk about the nature of that person. To walk all that way and literally take a baseball from a child is one of the most pathetic things that can happen on this planet. That is I don't even know how to properly describe the feeling I had when I first saw this video last night. I could not, like, I'm trying to envision myself. What would it take for me to do something that low? And I'm not even trying to make it sound like I'm some great person. I'm trying to understand how you can be that horrible of a person. It is unacceptable behavior, and I'm so happy. We can put the picture up there because I have a W for the Phillies for doing the right thing, and the Marlins broadcaster doing the right thing. They gave this kid a baseball bat, the ball, gifts, all that stuff. This is incredible right here. But I know this sounds weird. This shouldn't have to happen.
Yeah.
This child should never have to even be in this. That baseball player for the Phillies shouldn't have to do that. You know why that happened? Because a piece of shit took a baseball from a kid. This should never happen.
That's a landmark memory for the kid, bro. Like, that's a mass. That
Yeah.
was in a massive. Now it's diminished.
Yeah, and now the teams did the right thing, and I'm sure the kid's happy, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I'm just gonna be real. It's sad as fuck too because it took away a moment from a father and a son.
That too.
You see the still frames of the dad hugging his kid, and
I
he's
ain't gonna
like,
lie. If that,
"Oh, I know
if I'm
where
that
you're going."
dad,
Yeah,
fuck out of here, bro.
bro. That dude was
Bro,
yeah.
I would have been laughing in that chick's face.
That
bro.
dude was nicer
Where's your
than-
husband
yeah.
at? Bring him over here.
Yeah.
Let's have a man talk
Yeah.
about it. Ain't no way you're taking that ball.
You
from
can
his
clearly
son.
see. I'm not dissing the dad. You can clearly tell he wasn't a. You know, he
I
ain't
get
a,
it, but bro,
he's not a fighter kind of guy. That was a twin will out there. You're getting like bring husband over. Bring husband over. We're gonna dance real quick. Yeah, fuck that chick. Fuck that whole situation. I'm happy for the kid, but in the meantime, the bitch with the wig, do me a favor and hold this cell. I also have a second one.
Yeah,
I don't have a.
She had a full skunk on her head, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. Yeah, Pepe Le Pew was definitely. I didn't know he was a baseball fan, but I don't have a video of this one. I have an audio. I'm gonna play it over here, old school, like we used to back in the day. I'm playing our video right now. Yeah. So this is.
Yeah.
This is. I can't. I have to save it for last because it affects me in a more of a personal way because I don't have kids. I know that probably affected Trevor a little bit differently. This one affects me because I'm somebody who's an opinionist. Somebody who is more known out there for giving my opinion. And although I played sports growing up, I didn't play professionally. But I respect the opinions of everyone out there that works their ass off, studies film, regardless of whether you played sports or not played sports professionally. But that's not the case for Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark decided to do something yesterday that was about as despicable as anything that Ryan Clark's been doing over the last several months, but it's okay, guys, because he, puts apologies out there afterwards. So this was on Get Up yesterday morning when they were discussing the Cowboys and Eagles game, and in particular, the difference between A.J. Brown's game and CeeDee Lamb's game. This is Peter Schrager and Ryan Clark on Get Up.
This morning, are you feeling, okay, you look at A.J. Brown, which is this #1 wide receiver who got one target all night, and then you got CeeDee Lamb. But when was the one target? That's the target. But I'm saying, when was the one target? I'm saying, you could have it both ways. 4 seconds left in the game on 2nd and 11. It was the one target. He runs the out. You wake up this morning and A.J. Brown has had a better day than CeeDee Lamb. You know what you wake up saying, though? A.J. Brown's team is 1-0. Of course. Right, that's what I get it. But the thing is this, though, and we shouldn't do this on TV, and so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player. Oh, stop! CeeDee Lamb is. Let me tell you why. I'm not looking at fantasy football, Ryan. I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players are saying one thing, and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well in the Peter. What I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish for one. Okay, go on. It wasn't about you. It was going to be about me. Okay. As a player, I can't speak for CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, no, that's Ryan Clark at the very end trying to improvise what he was actually doing, and he was trying to make it sound like he was actually going to be being more introspective. But he literally, the first thing he does is outwardly disrespects a guy that ESPN hunted down from NFL Network to come over to their platform because he's one of the hardest working people in the industry. This man has built connections from the ground up. That actually, to me, is more respect. And no offense to the players out there that have earned their careers in the broadcast industry, in the analytical work industry. There's a lot of really proven commodities out there that are former players that are now really good at their jobs, their second act as an analyst, as an opinionist, as a character on these shows. But Ryan Clark's not one of them. Because what Ryan Clark has become is a caricature. He is now out here trying to outperform or outshine his panel when the whole job, which is ironic, is to be a teammate.
Yeah. And
not to be a piece of shit.
I'll say
to
this
be a little.
As far as like debate goes, which they were all debating there, having a debate, you broke the first rule of debate. You interrupted first and foremost and belittled the take. And then when he was starting to try to re-emphasize what he's actually saying, what the point you're trying to rebuttal and you interrupted, you told him not to get offended and let you finish your point. When you weren't making a point, you interrupted him.
Right. He was the one talking.
That's crazy.
Yes. That's sociopathic.
Dude, like, that's like, bro, that's like, there's a reason this guy has to keep making apologies post-show.
Yeah. And how about this? Ryan, if you want to basically and unofficially say that because he's a non-player, basically his opinion doesn't mean shit, then how about you just go stay on your fucking Pivot podcast with all you and Channing Crowder and all the former players. Fred Taylor, I think, is on that show. Good show. How about you just stay over there, because Get Up is ran by a bunch of non-players. Mike Greenberg has never played a sport in his life. He hosts the show. Do you not respect him as a host? Is it because that Peter Schrager maybe said something that you just don't agree with? And I love how Ryan, in the middle of his live tweeting last night of the game, throws in a little paragraph apology about what he said to Peter Schrager. Dude, we're over your bullshit apologies. When you attacked Robert Griffin III and his white wife, you brought up his wife, dude. That's on site shit. You talk about 80 man's woman. You get your ass beat, dude. Like, straight up, like Trevor said about the lady with the baseball. Bring your husband over. That's the same shit I'm talking about with this one. You want to sit here and talk about my wife? Let me know where you're at. Give me your address. We're gonna duke this shit out, brother. And I promise you, I'm not the one going to the hospital. You're gonna be the one that goes to the fucking the little stretcher. That's what's gonna happen. Ryan Clark, you're a douchebag, straight up. Peter Schrager may not be a former player, but that dude has far more respect in your industry than you've ever had. You're a dick. You're an absolute dickhead, dude. And when Ryan Clark first came on the scene, he was fine. I was like, former player, has experience. I'm looking forward to hearing his X's and O's. What he's basically become is a caricature of what he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be a guy that brought that insider information. That's why people like Jason Dunn are so great at what they do. They bring that insider information of being in that locker room, and they do it with grace, with dignity, with respect. They respect everyone's opinions. They don't sit here and say, that's the non-player in you. That is so absolutely disrespectful, dude.
Yes. Belittling. And he literally was belittling him on the public platform. And as Peter called him out on it immediately, like, dude, don't belittle me. Like, and I respect Peter for
standing up for himself. Yes,
because Peter knows his shit, bro.
And he's one of the nicest dudes too.
Right.
I've had many conversations with Strings.
Yeah. What did I tell you? Some ripped ex-player picking on the little guy in the room.
Right.
That says a lot about you.
A lot about you. So for that, Ryan Clark, you're going to do me a solid and hold that cell. Appreciate it, bitch. So this was a fun show. We really appreciate all you guys for what you guys brought to the show. Like I said, this was a therapy session for me. Hopefully it was a little bit of a therapy session for you. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of a laugh out of this too, because we try to make jokes throughout the show to kind of liven it up, even when we're going through the shit we're going through. Like I said, I feel like shit right now, but you know what? I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than where I'm at right now, and I really do mean that. So thank you guys for being here today with us. Thank you for chiming in. If you've not already done it, go to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe, hit like, hit notify, hit all the buttons. But most importantly, we need you to get in the comments, even after the show, man. Give us your opinions, give us your takes, your questions, whatever. We'll get back to you, man. But nevertheless, hope you guys have a great weekend. It's a weird week because it's a Friday game. Got a long stretch ahead of us. It's going to be a long week. Then we got to sit here and stew on this damn loss again for what seems to be 8 months. It feels like, but the Chiefs are going to bounce back, in my opinion. I think Trevor feels the same way. I think a lot of you guys feel the same way. Let's just see if they can do it week 2, man. They got a lot to overcome. And if you guys are on social media, follow us there as well. We'll give you guys our opinions on there. We give you guys up-to-date news. If we hear anything about Xavier Worthy, we'll throw that out there as well. But in the meantime, thank you guys again, and we hope that you continue to enjoy your weekend. You guys are safe out there. Make good decisions. Be kind to people. Don't be Ryan Clark. So for Trevor Twidwell, for the great Clay Wither that puts all this together on the back end of things at Red Tribe Cinema, I'm Lance Twidwell. Episode 326 of the Spoken Podcast is done, finished, and finito. And until we're back here in 1 week's time to break down the Chiefs and Eagles, we out of this bitch.
Later.